Unafraid Show. Reister or wrong, it's your boy George Reister in the building. Thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate your time, appreciate your energy, and you already know if you have, visit unafraidshow.com. All type of articles up. The Pac-12 power rankings are up. The Big 10 power rankings will be up in about 15, 20 minutes. The Big 12 power rankings are up. And we are going to do a college football preview for week 3 in just a couple minutes. So, first thing I want to talk about today is I want to give thanks. I want to give thanks because it is 9/11. It is the memorial for all those people who not only died in the terrorist attack, but those people who sacrificed, their well-being out in the smoke and the debris with the asbestos and all of this stuff. The people who've died, their families who've lost their lives. And I want to thank you guys for that because I remember exactly where I was when 9/11 happened. I was at the University of Oregon. I was in school. My mom called me. It was in the morning. It wasn't like super, super early, but when she called me, it was unusual. My mom said, "Turn on the TV, George." So I turned on the TV and I was like, "What channel?" She said, "It doesn't matter. Any channel, any news channel." Okay, I turned it on. I'm looking and I saw a building on fire. I was like, "Mom, a building's on fire. I don't understand." She's like, "George, a plane flew into the building." And I had never been to New York, so I had no clue how enormous these World Trade Center buildings were. I didn't have any concept for how big they were because I had never been to New York at that time. So I saw it and I was like, damn, this is crazy. And I just remember that, and it has forever changed our country. It's forever changed the world. And so I want to thank those people for their service, for their sacrifice, and I really, really appreciate it. Now, on to the Pac-12 power rankings. So when I do the power rankings for the Unafraid Show, I do them in a certain way. I do not factor in how good I think a team is. I do not factor in the eye test. No, the only thing I don't care about preseason rankings, last week's rankings. They do not matter. It is about quality wins, the schedule that you've played, and the dominance that you've showed. Those are the only factors that matter. And found it very interesting that, and I was kind of pissed off because one of the teams that I picked as the Pac-12 dark horse is at the bottom of the barrel in the Pac-12, and that's Arizona. I thought that Arizona would be much better with Khalil Tate. Kevin Sumlin dealt with Johnny Manziel, who ran all over the place, threw the ball. I'm like, this is a match made in heaven. How can this fail? And it's failing miserably. Arizona not only got boat raced their week 1 versus BYU. In week 2, they got drowned by Houston, 45-18. I think it was 42-0 before they even scored. I was at my kid's baseball game. And so I missed kickoff, and I look up probably 5 minutes into the game. It's 14-0. I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, okay, Arizona will come back. It's Houston. Hell no. And so I'm like, how did Arizona? So Arizona comes in at number 12 in the Pac-12 power rankings because the team that had been there for almost 2 consecutive years, Oregon State, do you realize how bad you have to be to knock Oregon State off the worst Pac-12 team pedestal? You know how bad you have to be? And that's how bad Arizona has looked so far. I thought that they could win the South, but no, after giving up 72 points in the first 2 weeks, that's absolutely awful. You guys make sure you swipe up, share the feed, tell a friend about the Unafraid Show, the greatest thing on television, the greatest thing there is. So the only coach that is off to a worse start than Kevin Sumlin at Arizona is Willie Taggart at Florida State. That's the only one. And that's only because they both had expectations. Nobody expected Arizona to get just housed. Nobody expected Florida State to almost lose by Samford. And that brings me to the number 11 team, UCLA. Okay, is Chip Kelly off to a bad start? Yeah. But there weren't very many expectations. He's playing with a true freshman quarterback. His grad transfer got hurt. His O-line is horrible. I mean, and they were playing Oklahoma in week 2. Like, there was zero chance that they were going to beat Oklahoma. And I tweeted out, I was like, there is, because the line on the game was, I think, 29.5 points. And so I tweeted out, I was like, there is zero chance Chip Kelly gets beat by 30 points. Hell will freeze over first. I was right. Some people try to say, oh, well, that doesn't count. Well, they scored cheap late touchdowns. Well, so did Oklahoma. Well, these are the breaks. And UCLA didn't have very many expectations coming into this season. Their offensive line is bad. They are bad. And they did have some positives out of the Oklahoma game because their freshman quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he got a little bit better from the game 1 when he came in Cincinnati. He's showing some flashes. He's got a shot. So as soon as UCLA can protect him and get some running backs who can run the football in the way that they want to run it, they will be A-OK. UCLA will be A-OK at that point in time and not a second before. But they do have something good going for them. UCLA's their defense is much improved. UCLA's defense is nowhere near as sorry as it was last year when they had one of the worst defenses in the entire country. So, yes, so they are better. There's something positive to take away from that. Number 10, and I cannot believe that Oregon State is at number 10 in the Pac-12 power rankings. I cannot believe it. They have been, it has been easy to pick who was at the bottom of the Pac-12 every week. You just knew 12, Oregon State. Like, you knew it. Like, there was no competition. But now there's competition. And Arizona and UCLA have just taken the cake. They got their first win last week versus Southern Utah. The question is, when will Jonathan Smith get his first Pac-12 win? When will he get it? Because he might get it next week versus Arizona. If I take that game right this second, I am taking Arizona in the game. Number 9, Washington State. They're sitting at 2-0. They beat San Jose State 31-0. And this just gave me even more confidence in Mike Leach. The fact that Mike Leach can put anybody at quarterback and throw for 733 yards and 6 touchdowns in 2 games is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Where we all thought that Washington State could have a tough year. They could be, because of the emotional toll of Tyler Helinski's suicide, of losing so many upperclassmen, some of their best players to the NFL draft. A lot of people thought they could suck. They're doing all right. But they have another cakewalk this week against Eastern Washington, and we still know nothing about the Cougars. Like, we don't actually know how good they are, but it's whatever. A team that fell really far in this week's Pac-12 power rankings on unafraidshow.com is the Utah Utes. They're sitting at 2-0, and they fell from number 4 to number 8. And the reason why, it's very easy why they fell from number 4 to number 8. Because a couple other teams won and played better teams, because you know the criteria for being higher in the list. It's who you play, how you play them. Exactly. Utah beat Northern Illinois 17-6. Here is the problem that Utah always faces, no matter whether they're playing Utah, or whether they're playing Arizona or whoever. Utah consistently falls into a point where they have trouble scoring points. I don't know what it is about the offense. I don't know what it is about Kyle Whittingham's system. It's just not conducive to scoring a lot of points on a regular basis. And it's not that they're short on talent, because they put a lot of guys in the NFL every year. They put, 1-2 guys in the league every year. So they're not short on talent, and they are competitive in the conference. So the fact that they have trouble with that, not too much. That's why they fell so low, is because if you can't score against who are they playing? Yeah, if you can't score a lot of points against Northern Illinois, you can't manage more than 17 points, it's not going to go well for you in the Pac-12. Number 7, USC. They fell from number 2 to number 7. Their performance against Stanford was 100% unacceptable. There is no reason why USC should have all these 5-star recruits. They got all the fine, shiny toys, and you can't manage a touchdown versus Stanford. Stanford, who doesn't even use up all their scholarships every year because it's hard for kids to get in, dominated you. It's different losing a game. It's different than getting beat up. If they had lost 17-31, okay. But not even to score a touchdown? That's embarrassing, man. And Clay Helton is going to find the boo birds out a lot louder, especially if they lose to Notre Dame this year. If USC loses to Notre Dame and or UCLA this year, oh my God, dude, they might kick him off the bus like they did Lane Kiffin. Might leave his ass at the airport. But USC, I mean, their young quarterback, JT Daniels, he looked like a true freshman this year. I'm sorry, in this game. Looked like it. And he's going to need to have a short memory as they head to Texas this week, because that's not going to be a friendly environment. And this game against Texas is literally a make or break game for both of those teams. It's make or break for Texas and make or break for USC. Because Texas has a new coach. Tom Herman came in with a bunch of pomp and circumstance. Hasn't really looked that great yet for Texas fans. But truth is that Texas fans have way too high expectations. Like they think they're something they're not. Like Texas is big, it's got money, but they don't have a history of greatness. They got the national championship with Vince Young, and then stuff like way back in like the 70s. I mean, like they're not a perennially great team, but they think they are. But I digress. Number 6 in the power rankings, University of Washington. Washington beat North Dakota 45-3. And I'll tell you the truth. I don't know what to make of this Washington team at this point in time. I've said it. Jake Browning is a liability. That's not going to change. The fact that Jake Browning is their quarterback, that's not going to change. But you know what can change, though, is people's expectations. Because so many people tried to tell me that Washington was going to win the Pac-12 before the season started. I said, absolutely not. No way. No how. Not happening. And people tried to convince me that this was true. No way. No way. Because Jake Browning is not a guy who can get it done long term. He's not. So why would I think he is? Number 5, Oregon. Oregon fans, I know you're probably upset with me right now because Oregon's so low, but this is the truth. I try to be objective as possible, and you know I love the Ducks, but truth is, they fell from number 5 to number 3 is because they deserve to be right there. I do believe the Ducks are a really good team, and they can win the Pac-12 North and the championship. They're like the dark horse to win it. But Cal, Colorado, and Arizona State and Stanford have all played and beat better competition. So until week 4, when the Ducks play Stanford, they're not going to be, if everybody else wins, it's going to be tough to be in the top of the Pac-12 rankings. You have to play somebody. I know that a lot of that is not Oregon's fault because people have canceled, but it is what it is. This is the situation. I do find it interesting, though, that how Ducks fans are reveling in Willie Taggart's failures at his failures at Florida State right now. Oh my God. They're like, oh my man, we were so pissed that he left. He left the way he left. And now they're like, oh my God, we might have been saved. We might have been saved from no halftime adjustment Willie. Hey man, sometimes addition by subtraction, guys. Remember that. Coaches say it all the time. Sometimes they're right. Number 4, Cal. I am very proud of Cal because I played with Justin Wilcox when I was at Oregon. One of their DBs, their DB coach, Gerald Alexander, is one of my good friends. And his group is playing well, man. These dudes are playing good on defense. They're not a threat to win the Pac-12 North. They're not a threat. But they are a threat in an individual game. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they can't this is not a team that's talented enough to put 5-6 wins together in a row. But they are talented enough and well coached enough to beat any team any week. Like if they play, like if Washington, Oregon, Stanford brings their B- or C+ game and Cal brings their A game, Cal can win that game. That's the point. They can't win a bunch of them in a row, but they are good enough to knock you off your pedestal if you do not come with it. They figured out their quarterback situation. Chase Garbers played well against BYU, who demolished Arizona, even though Arizona made it close late. Proud of Cal. Number 3, Colorado. Colorado they're a decent team, but they are short on athletes. Their skill position players are not dynamic at all with the ball in their hands, except for my man, number 2, Chenault, Mr. Game Saver himself. He's the truth. I like him. He's dangerous. Like, he's a guy to where he can take the top off your defense. He's their wide receiver, but he handles the ball. They hand it to him. They throw it to him. They try to get the ball to him as much as possible. He's a guy who can wreck your game. And that's what Colorado is going to have to do, because in their game against Nebraska, which they won 33-28, there was so much opportunity for Colorado to blow this game open, and they just didn't. They didn't. And a lot of it has to do with the quarterback position. This is why I give Oregon such an edge with Herbert, why I downgrade Washington so much with Jake Browning, why Arizona State gets even a little bit more boost with Manny Wilkins. He's a senior, doesn't make too many dumb decisions. Arizona was getting a boost because of their quarterback, Khalil Tate, because of his legs. And we have a team like Colorado doesn't get a huge boost because Steven Montez in the game against Nebraska made a bunch of plays that you're just shaking your head. You're like, dude, you are a junior. You cannot be taking a sack right here. You're running over to the sideline. The defense is barreling down on it. Just throw it away. Why are we taking sacks right here? I mean, I don't understand some of these like old quarterbacks like Jake Browning did against Auburn. Sitting there like, you are too old for this. Like, I shouldn't be yelling your name for like simple plays that I know the coaches have gone over, because Chris Peterson's a really good coach. Mike McIntyre and his offensive staff have to have told Steven Montez, throw the ball away. So, yes. But for now, Colorado, they did beat Nebraska. They did put up 33 points. They did win a close one. Colorado at number 3. Number 2, Michigan State. It's extremely unfortunate, and I've been complaining about this, and I will until the death, which is one of the best games of the night, in the second half at least, was Arizona State, Michigan State. 16-3 game, but it was on Pac-12 After Dark. So Arizona's not going to get the proper credit that it deserves because it can't see the people's eye test, because they're watching the back of their eyeballs during the game because they're sleeping. 7:45 kick. That's 10:45 on the East Coast. I know it's a Saturday, but still, by 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning when the game's going to end, guess what? These people are sleeping. I fell asleep week 1 when Arizona and BYU were playing. I had to wake up to finish the game. But the thing about Arizona State is maybe the Herm Edwards hire wasn't so crazy. Maybe it wasn't just so silly. Maybe it was actually smart. Maybe Herm didn't forget how to coach. I know it's still early, but he won a big one and deserves some credit for that. Got to give credit to Herm, because if he screws up, I'm on his head just like everybody else. But I know he's going to turn these young men into great individuals. And remember when I told y'all that I thought Arizona was going to win the South? Again, I tell you, I was stuttering. Arizona State. I meant state. That they have a chance, because USC doesn't want it, clearly, with the way they played against Stanford. Arizona can't have it by the way they're playing. So Arizona State, all you got to do is just play good football and you will beat USC. You will beat Arizona and score some points and you'll beat Utah. Number 1 team in the Pac-12 is Stanford. This is an easy choice. Stanford's a quality team. They're well coached. And Bryce Love is no longer their best player. I said it in week 1. Bryce Love's a good player. He's going to run for a bunch of yards. However, the value of a running back versus the value of a quarterback, they just aren't the same. And KJ Costello, I'm telling you guys right now, believe it under the sound of my voice, he is the best player on Stanford's offense. He's their quarterback. He showed it against San Diego State when they couldn't run the ball, that he can have the game on his shoulders. Because this is how you can judge a good quarterback. If the game can be put on his shoulders and then he find a way to deliver, and you feel confident that he will deliver more times than he won't. That's why Stanford's number 1. They're playing tough. They beat USC. They look dominant. They got a quality quarterback, good running back, good offensive line. Defense was supposed to be sketchy, but they improved so much from San Diego State in the first half to the end of the USC game. They look tough. It's going to be interesting to see if game day shows up in Eugene in 2 weeks to see them play, because Oregon should not lose this weekend versus San Jose State, and Stanford should not lose this weekend versus UC Davis. So enter College Game Day in Eugene, Lee Corso with the helmet, with the duck, hanging out. We're going to get some good content out of that. Per usual, guys, if you have a comment or voice your opinion, leave a comment on unafraidshow.com where the Pac-12 power rankings are, or you can send it into I'm Mad. I-M-M-A-D. I'm mad at unafraidshow.com. So I got to do, just send it in and I will get to it. Also, the college football, the Pac-12 schedule this week, pretty light. UC Davis, Stanford. Stanford's clearly going to win. San Jose State, Oregon. Washington State beat them 31-0. Oregon will dominate. Colorado, New Hampshire, another domination. Cal, Idaho State, domination. Nevada, Oregon State in Reno. We're going to see what Oregon State is built out of, because they might be back at the Pac-12, bottom of the Pac-12 power rankings, depending on how that one goes. USC and Texas. We're going to see about this. Tom Herman and Clay Helton might be playing for their hot seats right now, because both of them are a little, temperature is its own medium-low heat. But if this game doesn't go well for either one of them, it's going to be at medium, full medium. And from there, a couple more bad losses, you could be on your way out the door, buddy. Eastern Washington and Washington State, another blowout. Washington and Utah, very interested, and it's at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Utah, which is a tough place to play. Curious to see how Washington rebounds, because Utah is going to play defense. They're going to be tough. They're going to be mean. And Jake Browning doesn't like good defenses. He's like allergic to them. He can't play well when a good defense is anywhere around. So we will see how Washington, my eyeballs are on this game because it will tell us a lot about Utah, who didn't score very many points and fell 4 spots in the Pac-12 power rankings last week. And it'll tell us a lot about Washington. If Washington goes in and dominates that game, I'll feel better about them because they had every opportunity to win the Auburn game. And they should have won the Auburn game. But they didn't. So we'll see how Jake Browning and the crew bounces back. We got Arizona and Southern Utah. Should be a blowout. If Arizona doesn't beat Southern Utah or blow them out, whoa. I don't even know what they're going to say about Kevin Sumlin. Maybe he should change quarterbacks at that point in time. I don't know. Fresno State and UCLA. I had this as an easy dub for UCLA. But with Jeff Tedford coaching Fresno State, with the way UCLA has not been playing well, this could be a lot closer than people want it to be. And the last game up, Arizona State, San Diego State. San Diego State kept it really close with Stanford week 1. And Stanford ultimately just dominated the game in the second half with their passing game. And I think that Arizona State is going to jump on them early with N'Keal Harry, Manny Wilkins, and the rest of the little crew. They're going to put up a lot of points. I think that this game gets absolutely out of hand pretty early. As long as Arizona State can stop San Diego State's running attack, which is just like Stanford's. And don't forget, guys, visit unafraidshow.com. The Pac-12 power rankings are up. The college football top 10 is up. And there is also, thanks again for everybody who had any hand in protecting our country with 9/11. You lost a loved one, lost a friend. Thank you for your service, and to all the people who did lose someone, my heart goes out to you guys as well. Last thing up, I sent out a tweet about Nike stock price. Everybody said their stock price was going to fall. It's up higher than ever. Don't know what to tell you. Sorry you're mad. Now they're saying we should check out the fourth quarter earnings. We'll see. There's also an article up on my timeline at George Reister about the whole Nike, Kaepernick, the NFL thing, breaking down every way that this can be broken down and the truth about what's going to happen with the NFL. Are they going to drop Nike? What's going to happen with the college teams? And what's going to happen with this whole Kaepernick ad in and of itself? An objective opinion, so you don't have to think that this is either this side or that side. It's just a lot of truth. Make sure you always send your comments, send your to ummad@unafraidshow.com. All that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Peace out. Catch you guys tomorrow.